report any way you want. I'm thinking we have to. Does that mean
we should just throw it out? I mean, are there other numbers you'd prefer to look at this morning?
Well, my more unique perspective is to think about predicting there will be a recession eventually. Whether it's in 2020, I don't know. But there will be. And the question is, how severe will it be? And economists are not very good at going out another year. But I think that there are, this is my book, there are narratives in place that make ourselves a little bit vulnerable. Not just the narrative that the Fed is already at a low interest rate and doesn't have ability to expand, but there are other narratives in the background that I think could come big and powerful. Notably, the narrative about machines replacing jobs, artificial intelligence. That's going so strong, you wonder why it hasn't scared consumers yet.
Well, it hasn't scared consumers yet because you're looking at a jobs number, as the president just tweeted, at 3.5%, unemployment at 3.5%.
You got it. That's exactly it. When the unemployment rate goes up in the next recession, which is coming at some point, they will shift their interpretation to interpreting it as something to do with artificial intelligence. You won't be able to say they're wrong either, because those factors are there. And so we could have a more serious recession. Your talk this morning seems to focus on, could there be a recession? A small recession doesn't bother me as much as a big one. And I think that we have things in place that over the next few years could worsen the recession into a bad one. Maybe not as bad as the Great Recession.
Right.
But the problem is that we have narratives afloat today that are not strong, kind of long-run narratives that are in the background and waiting to affect confidence.
So when you said there could be a recession, but not something that looks like the recession, the Great Recession of 2008, what does it look like? What are the things that worry you? What are the things that don't worry you that makes it different?
Well, we still have some element of the pessimism or the fears of that remain from the 2008 recession. So this could be like the 37-38 recession. I hate to bring the Depression up, but people in that recession, that's a long time ago, the term secular stagnation came up again. Because people thought we haven't really felt good about ourselves since the Great Depression, and now we have another recession here. So that narrative could come back again. I don't mean to be negative. I'm just saying, from my perspective, I want to think about severity of recessions, and this is not an exact science, but it's something about a potential for worries. The other thing that may change in the next recession is that we may be less excited or willing to do conspicuous consumption. We have President Trump modeling conspicuous consumption, lavish lifestyle as a success strategy. And that attitude, I believe, I argue in my book, that attitude can change. It can change abruptly. And it can also add to the severity of a recession. If people don't want to spend money,
it would change the way the consumer spends money. That's interesting. That's very, very interesting. Robert, we want to thank you for joining us this morning on Jobs Friday, and good luck with the book.
Thank you.
You bet.
All right, let's get down to the New York Stock Exchange. Kramer's there. Jim, I can't wait to hear your take on what we just saw from the jobs number. What's it mean?
Well, look, I think that we are in a situation where the part of the economy that is being hurt, manufacturing, could really benefit from a rate cut, because I think a lot of the problems there is the dollar's just way too strong. It's really made us to be non-competitive. You're going to hear that for the next 4 weeks when we have earnings. You're going to hear over and over again the strong dollar is just a big negative. Rest of the economy, good. I agree with I agree a lot with what Leisman said, which is that we have to watch retail, but at the same time, the jobs are so plentiful in that sector that I'm not as concerned unless we get a major bankruptcy. It is true that the biggest issue is finding people to go to work. I also why don't we talk like the Hispanic job creation, African-American job creation? These are really good things. So I like the number, but there's still room to cut because it's the manufacturing sector that's being hurt by a high rate that is causing the dollar to be too high.
Yeah, dollar was up a little bit on this news. We're looking at the chart right now.
Yeah, it's just too high.
What do we do, though, when central banks everywhere are kind of looking at negative interest rates? How do we compete against that?
I think that some degree is a straw man. We just need to we raise rates in order to be able to get a soft landing. Now we have to kind of recalibrate because we don't want it to get to be too soft a landing. Forget those guys. Just recognize that in a vacuum, the bond market is saying to me, you got to cut short rates. Now, I know that a lot of people come on air, but I just deal with the manufacturing sector, and the manufacturing sector is really being hurt by the strong dollar. It's preeminent. We also need to deal with Mexico and Canada, and I'm afraid that the impeachment hearing is going to derail that.
What about the ISM non-manufacturing number yesterday? It didn't show contraction, but it was weaker than expected. Is that just bleeding over? It's a sentiment indicator.
Yeah, to some degree. I mean, Costco was on last night. Costco gave a great, really a critique of the economy and just kind of said, listen, the tariffs are hurting us a little bit. Things are slowing down a little bit. And when you listen to Costco, other than the fact that they sold a diamond ring for a couple hundred G's, you just recognize that there's worry that it's going to bleed. And that's a great retailer. It's not happening yet, though. And you don't want it to happen. And I think that we can really help it by having a Fed funds rate that's lower and the dollar just stops soaring. Even on PepsiCo's conference call yesterday, the dollar was a big problem.
Faber's getting in your shot. Tell him nice tie.
Okay.
But he looks fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I think that's
a good tease.
Senator
Jim.
Warren wants a piece of his wealth, right? Senator Warren's going to come after you, Dave, for that jacket.
What are you talking about?
Oh, never mind.
I just put my ear in.
He doesn't know what's going on. Okay, David, we will see you, and Jim will see you.
Warren, there are too many billionaires.
In just a couple of minutes.
Too many billionaires. They should do a show about billionaires called Billionaires.
I heard of one.
War on Wealth. I heard that.
Something like that. Just over a half an hour till the opening bell on Wall Street. Want to get to Dom Chu, who's got a look at some of the morning's biggest movers, literally some of which just started moving in the last 25 minutes. Dom.
Two things. First of all, I know that show Billions. And second of all, I like everyone's tie on air today. They all look fantastic. I have tie envy. Anyway, our TGIF edition of Morning Movers starts with shares of Snapchat parent company Snap Inc. Those shares are up 3.5%. Over 400,000 shares of volume. The social media company gets upped to an equal weight from underweight by analysts at Morgan Stanley. The target goes to $17 from $14. They like better sales momentum given product enhancements and more focus by management on operating efficiencies. Next up, we'll check out shares of General Electric, which are lower by over 1% on around 420,000 shares pre-market. The industrial giant getting some more cautious commentary from analysts at JP Morgan, reiterating their underweight rating and $5 price target, citing what they think is materially less growth with greater risk with regard to GE's aviation business. So those shares off. And then we're going to end on shares of Applied Materials, which are up over about 1% or so on roughly 5,000 shares pre-market. The maker of things that make computer chips is getting positive mentions by analysts at Citigroup. They maintain the buy rating and a $62 price target, so we'll watch those shares for sure for catalyst into earnings season, guys. I'll send things back over to you.
Okay, thank you for that, Dom. Everybody have a great weekend, folks. Make sure you join us next week. Swap on the Street begins right now.
Join others.
Squawk on the Street. I'm Carl Quintanilla with Jim Cramer, David Faber at the New York Stock Exchange. Futures holding on to gains as the jobs number comes in solid, 136,000, just south of estimates. Wages up 2.9 year on year is down from 3.2, which will give folks something to debate today regarding the future health of the labor market. Europe is green. 10-year yield inches back up to 1.54. Our roadmap begins with the latest key read on the economy. Jobs. Unemployment hits a 5-decade low. Stocks are set for a positive open to close out what's been a volatile week.
Plus, more phones, please. Apple reportedly increasing production of its iPhone 11 models by about 10%. The shares are rallying ahead of the bell.
Also, is capitalism as we know it dead, or how much wealth is too much? Some surprising thoughts from Mark Benioff and Mark Zuckerberg today. That's coming up. We're going to start with the jobs number, though. Obviously, 136 is a good number. The unemployment rate down to 3.5, lowest since 1969. Retail loses 11K, Jim.
Right.
Manufacturing loses 2K, but government up 22.
Look, this is a number which says to me that the Fed can still cut because the sector that's being really stagnant is manufacturing, and a lot of that is the fact that the dollar is so strong. I mean, even it's very interesting on the Costco conference call yesterday. They talked about how, hey, listen, we got these tariffs, but don't worry about it. You see, because the dollar is strong and the Chinese currency is weak, it kind of makes up for it. I mean, that's something we have to be thinking about, that we continue to lose because of the currency. So that gives the Fed reason and ability to move. I don't like that it's all healthcare again. It reminds me of the old economy that healthcare has.
Well, it's also a lot of government workers potentially
Yes.
for the census. Steve Leisman was taking note of the fact that private sector didn't look that great.
No.
And that does go to this question of whether capital investment has slowed and therefore hiring has slowed as a result as well.
It has. Look, I think that people are very uncertain. I mean, don't forget, if you pay any attention to Washington, do you have any idea what's going to happen? Any idea? No. None.
Okay.
What?
No,
Well, I mean,
no,
Washington,
every day is an adventure.
Washington is the biggest tailwind, our biggest headwind to the economy that I can recall. I have not seen it since Nixon is such a headwind. And it's just, it fights you at every turn. You have to check Twitter. You have to check look at the lead headlines. I mean, China, Ukraine, Biden, you get me?
Jim, market doesn't care about
No, but
impeachment.
lowers the PA. The manufacturing stocks are doing terrible.
That's trade. That's a different. You're
I'm
talking
saying-
impeachment, or are you talking trade?
Well, the classic example is that when Speaker Pelosi said that we're probably going to get a deal with Mexico and Canada, and I just don't know how that's possible. And that's just a huge part of it, much bigger than China. How do we not get that deal? I mean, the Mexicans want to do it, the Canadians want to do it, the United States wants to do it, and we can't get it through Congress? I mean, that's the most...
Some people this week said if we can't get that ratified through Congress, who's to say we can get a good China deal
There you go.
ratified through Congress?
I totally agree with you. That's my big worry. I mean, I just think the idea of Nancy Pelosi sitting down with Trump, how is that possible? Hey, I'm trying to impeach you. Let's make a deal.
China deal? You don't need a China deal.
If it's a
Well,
trade
but-
agreement, sure. Yeah, right.
Apple. Wow. I just think that look, they're hurting the economy. If you talk to say a UPS or a Union Pacific, we need a deal with Mexico. Plus, I mean, the currency is such an advantage for them. It's almost 20. You have free. Remember, if you move to Mexico, and I know the president's going to come after you, but free health care, very better education system than ever. A lot of safe cities. Don't believe all the stuff. It's a big country. No pollution control rules to speak of. Non-union.
Back to the employment number.
Well,
3.5% of unemployment.
That's
3.5%.
with no inflation. With no inflation.
And a 1.5 or 1.6 on the 10-year.
How about that, Trump?
David Wessel sent something out earlier, tweeted something earlier, said if you told people 2009 this would be the way this looks, you never would have believed
Not
it.
possible. It's just unbelievable.
10 years later.
I mean, remember, Marty Busey from Paychecks, small to medium side, why is the unemployment rate not lower? It can't find people. Now, that's a percentage. You're saying they need
If
to...
that were true, then why are wages down from the prior month?
Yeah.
Right? 2.9, that's what people are asking. If it's so tight, why do employers feel they can get away with paying less than they were a month ago?
Well, I do think that there is this gig economy that shafts people. The gig economy you don't do as well.
That's curious. It really is. In a tight labor market, the fact that wages...
I was surprised that wages didn't advance that much. I was surprised. I mean, it's incredible that you could have...
we keep waiting for, and it doesn't ever
we
really come.
don't
We've
get
seen
it.
spurts, obviously,
Well,
where it's
because-
above 3 or 2.9. But
Automation, digitization. That's doing it. Keeping wages. Look, ServiceNow can replace you. Workday can replace you. They'd replace you. Salesforce can replace you.
All right, but I got 3.5% unemployment rate. Who's getting replaced? Somebody's finding jobs.
People who make $80,000 to $120,000 are being replaced by technology. That's what's happening.
Yeah, big paper out of the San Francisco Fed this week about whether or not, I mean, it's not offshoring really, in their view, it's automation.
Well, when you talk to these companies, what are they really doing? That they're making it so. What is Zendesk doing, David? Zendesk is making so you don't have to have a big customer service business. That's what David, Zscaler. I mean, you can outsource all sorts of cybersecurity. David, Okta. What are you doing? Just repeating what I'm saying?
Yes.
How about Ring Central then?
Ring Central.
These are all real companies that
Avaya.
everybody...
These are all real companies?
That my daughter wants to do. Avaya deals good. My daughter said, listen, Dad, I want to be the COO of Okta. I said, you got to have some experience. She goes, who even hell knows what it is? Why can't I just do it? I think there's more to it than that.
Zscaler.
Zscaler's done. Done your way.
We're going to watch.
TCO's a real company.
I know it is.
Drives you crazy.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow,
As the control room's just trying to keep up with your charts. That's all.
well, I mean, Okta just had a major
But no,
breakdown
your point
yesterday.
is well
Okta was-
taken. Digitization,
Yes.
automation,
Yes.
a lot of things contributing, which will only
Yes.
increase, contributing to
Yes.
keeping a cap on wages in some
that's
way.
that's the pressure.
Even though there are still jobs, obviously there's a surfeit of jobs.
But if you have you bring in Salesforce, okay? Well, you don't need to have a massive research department about tells you which way the wind blows anymore. They'll do it for you.
Right.
And boy, did Mark Benioff.
We're going to get to Benioff's
Oh
comments.
my, was that a brilliant speech? Brilliant, wasn't it?
Making
So
a lot of
well,
waves.
but-
First, let's do Apple, though. Up in the pre-market, important story. Nikkei says the company has told suppliers to boost production of the 11 by up to 10%, or 8 million units. That's due to better than expected global demand. Sources say the recent surge in orders is concentrated in the cheapest model and the 11 Pro. We always say supply chain leaks are not. Don't take it to the bank, but that would be a big move. Be a big move.
You knew it. I checked around about how people are doing. I got enough sources within the company. I mean, it's not just the phone, the watch. I don't know. Where's my watch? I ordered it 3 weeks ago. Where is it? There is a backlog for a lot of things, but I think what's really important is that the underestimation of the new phone, the Pro. Like people, I was with someone yesterday who said, "Can you believe the 3 cameras? What you can do with them? You can throw away your Nikon. You can throw away your Sony. Those are cameras, David.
Yeah.
And this is a very popular. The slim down one's very popular. No one's better. The NFL ad, I think, is so important. The ad which just shows you that they pulverize this thing and it keeps ticking. That it's waterproof. There were a lot of features to the 11 that I think were underestimated by the people, and of course Tim Cook, always underestimated. I mean, it comes out. And people say, "Oh, what is that? There's nothing new since Steve Jobs. There's nothing new." I mean, it's one of the most compelling machines that I've seen. And particularly if you're an Instagram-oriented person and you use Instagram to build your business, you look like any other large retailer if you use that camera. Is that what I've been looking for?
Or a Snap, or if you're Snap oriented.
Snap is executing better. Instagram.
They were a camera company. Remember when they went public? That's
what they called themselves. Yeah, that was probably ill-advised. But I just think that we're in a moment where that camera is a game changer, and people didn't think it was. People yawned.
There's their Snap. Morgan Stanley takes it to neutral from sell today, although they do say we question the ability to garner higher multiple on a sustained basis. They basically answer, why didn't we take it to a buy?
Well, look, when you look at what Clorox is doing or Procter's doing, or they're trying to find, Estee Lauder, they're trying to find these people, these elusive millennials and Gen whatevers. And what happens is that's where they are. They're cord cutters. They're not watching us. They're watching things on, they're looking at their Instagram feed. And you can sneak in. I don't know if you've seen the new level of Instagram ads. Like my wife is going through her feed. It's like, well, this is dog feed. This is dog feed. Oh, here's an ad for dog. Here's dog feed. Plus, of course, they're listening to you. I don't know what people feel good. I mean, I was talking about a terrific doctor who passed away, Dr. Kleber. He was the czar, the drug czar for George Bush, and he was fantastic. And then I opened my PC, and it's got his obituary.
And this has to do with what?
You speak and they hear you and they give you an ad that's
they were responding to
what I said. I was talking and my PC heard me and popped up the obituary of
That's
Kleber.
scary.
It is, but what matters to me is that the advertisements have gotten so sophisticated that you click on them as you think that they're, wow, hey, I want that. It's targeted, and I think that's why Snap is going to do okay. We don't have someone should, I think
Snap is used as a communications tool by all these kids now. They don't text each other, they snap each other.
That's true.
All right, I see it.
Right.
Every day.
And I
try and text my son, I don't get him.
Well, but
I'm not on Snap,
I want
so I'm
him.
not reaching him.
You gotta be. If you want to reach him, right, you're going to join.
I want Church and Dwight wants to sell him
I'm
things.
afraid.
Church and Dwight has a all-natural deodorant. They want to sell that to your son. That's how they reach you.
They all text. All of them. I mean, they all snap to commute. Just where are you going to be? I'm going to meet you here. Whatever. This usual stuff. That's what they use. So that's good for Snap.
Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
That's where the advertisers are, David.
All right. And then my other one is on Instagram looking at makeup things.
That's why Estee Lauder comes up. They use huge budget.
That's all you need to know.
Huge budget on Instagram for Estee Lauder, which of course is one of the great companies of our era. Fabrizio Freda, who's from Eastern Italy.
Yes, done very well in China.
David Zscaler is trading actively.
Zscaler, Okta.
He doesn't even know what Okta does. That's what's so.
I do. I know what Okta does.
Yeah, you think it's a cereal company. Did you have your Okta today with your Wheaties?
I didn't actually have my cereal today. Usually it's Life. Sometimes I
don't know.
with
Look, there are companies out there that are saving people, companies money like you wouldn't believe, and that keeps job pressure, wage pressure. Versus, look, we have to pay $18 for a dishwasher at Longshoreman. Shopify is one of the greatest creators of jobs in our era.
You want to just set up an online retailer? Boom, Shopify.
Look, David, there are billionaires being created on Shopify. Now, of course, Washington wants to reverse that.
Guys, we're going to take a break. A lot to get to this morning, including HPQ, Costco, FedEx, got a call on CSX, GE, of course, Stephen Tusa over at JP Morgan. We'll get Cramer's Mad Dash, countdown to the opening bell. Take one more look here at the pre-market as the jobs number. If you missed it this morning, 136K. Back in just a moment.
Consistency delivers.
Did you know Carphone Warehouse does business? That's why we understand how hard it is to go from this to this. But when you switch to the Samsung Galaxy S10 smartphone with O2, you don't have to. It's packed with features to help you stay on track on the move. So, if you want to end your summer feeling like this and not this, switch and save today with O2 and get the Samsung Galaxy S10 with 60 gigabytes of data for only £43 per month. Visit your nearest store or go online at business.carphonewarehouse.com/switch and save.
Today, your information is more exposed than ever. When you shop, sign in, or browse, you could be vulnerable to cybercriminals. More online threats demand more protection. That's why new Norton 360 provides multiple layers of protection, combining device security, secure VPN, password manager, and cloud backup all in one solution. Get new Norton 360, starting at $24.99 for the first year.
Jamie Theakston and Amanda Holden.
Hot breakfast. Tom Hanks is our special guest.
You're either being punished or rewarded. I'll let you decide.
I did do a whole show of grease on my front lawn when I was a kid. We charged everyone 10p. We raised a £5 and I gave it to Bishop's Waltham Gymnastics Club towards a new crash mat.
Do they get the crash mat?
I mean, it took a couple more years, but yeah.
It does happen to normal people like you. You've won £20,000. Well done.
I love this game.
Hot breakfast
with Jamie Theakston and Amanda Holden. Weekdays from 6:30. Listen on your radio, global player, or smart speaker.
Play hard.
So, this is a super glue accident. His hand stuck to his face.
I wish it were that simple, Doctor, but he's totally gobsmacked. Look, when you pull his hands away, they slap right back into his face again.
Don't tell me. He was at Specsavers trying those new hidden hearing aids that connect to your phone.
That's right.
Yeah, 50th case this week. There's a woman there, can't get her eyebrows down.
Oh, no. At Specsavers, we're putting the awe into audiology with new ReSound Wireless Lynx Quattro hearing aids from £1,995 a pair. Ask in store for details.
It's a Friday. Got about 14 minutes before we get started with trading here. Final trading day of the week, if you like to keep track of those things.
Of course.
And our last mad dash. Costco reported after the bell.
Okay.
What do you think?
David, there's a lot of misinformation about Costco today. That people saying, look, it wasn't that good a quarter. Stocks will be under pressure. That's nonsense, okay? These guys are more in control of their own destiny than any retailer other than perhaps Walmart. And Richard Galanti just told an unbelievable story. He's your CFO.
The risk out.
And it's not just David. They sold a diamond ring for $220,000. They sold another large diamond ring for people. I love the fact that people buy
into Costco and buy, or I don't know where they buy it, but yeah.
Right, Costco at $220,000
diamond ring.
Now, David, they opened a store in Shanghai.
Yes.
They had to close it in 4 hours.
Right.
Why? Because they have unbelievable demand. They currently have 200,000 members signed up. And that's like more than they'll have from a Costco all year. Now, here's what matters.
In China.
Here's what matters. Galanti does not then say, like any cheesy, stupid retailer, we're going to put up like 10 right now. He's going to say, listen, we got to figure this out. And so we're going to be measured in our growth in China. Well, people didn't want to hear that. They want him to throw up a lot of stores and screw it up. No, he won't do that because he's in control. David, this was a fine quarter. If you can't be 5% comp store sales, remarkable loyalty, 90%. And no, everyone renews their card. I always renew my card. I'm sure you have it on renewal too. And I just think that it's just those who sell it today. I'm laughing at you. I'm laughing. Those who sell. Remember the scene in Carrie when Travolta says we're all going to laugh at you.
What is the secret to Costco's success in 10 words or less? What?
Membership card.
All these years.
Membership card.
The ability to go into China and somehow do what other retailers have not been able to do.
It's called price, David. I got a Zegna shirt there for $27. Do you know that most companies have to pay like $50, then they mark it to $75? I got it for $20. And by the way, I got it. Jim Sinegal was at that point running it, and I went to the one up in New York. He said, Jim, look at these. Look at these. I bought 10 of them. I could open the retail store. I would make a fortune. So the trick is that the prices are low, treasure hunt feel, absolutely. And the card, David, the card. It's a club. It's a club I want you to join. You know, it's as big as Amazon. Will you join the club with me this weekend? I'll give you all, David, the free samples there. Do not eat before you go. Okay. Do not. And the crab dip.
Gave me that
have you had the crab dip? Sure, but the crab dip?
No, I haven't had it.
You're coming with me.
I have not been in
You're coming with me. You break the fast in Costco.
Ooh, wow, sounds exciting. Not with crab. All right, we got a opening bell. Opening bell. That's what's coming up. 12 minutes from now. Of course, you can see how futures are looking. If we got that employment number, looks like the markets are reacting fairly well. More squawk on the street coming at you.
When we chose independence, it was like
London. Switch to Vodafone, the UK's best mobile network, and Be Unlimited, because the best phones deserve the best network and our new unlimited data plans. The future is exciting. Ready? Vodafone.
Max download speeds apply to unlimited data. Best network as voted by readers of trusted reviews. Terms at vodafone.co.uk/unlimited.
Right now, the future is being written by people like you. Creative thinkers, tech lovers, problem solvers. Are you going to stand by and watch? Well, show the world what you've got. Join others around the UK on an EY degree apprenticeship in digital and technology. And earn a salary working with exciting businesses while studying towards a degree. Don't let the future pass you by. Get involved. For more information and to apply, search EY Digital Apprentice.
Today, your information is more exposed than ever. When you shop, sign in, or browse, you could be vulnerable to cybercriminals. More online threats demand more protection. That's why new Norton 360 provides multiple layers of protection, combining device security, secure VPN, password manager, and cloud backup all in one solution. Get new Norton 360, starting at $24.99 for the first year.
Get ready for Brexit on the 31st of October. Brexit will bring changes that affect businesses in many ways, particularly if you buy from EU suppliers, sell to EU customers, provide services to EU clients, and receive customer data from other businesses in the EU. Businesses need to prepare. Find out how at gov.uk/Brexit. Get ready for Brexit on the 31st of October.
The nights have started to draw in. And at DFS, we know that can only mean one thing. Everyone will want to spend more time at home, getting nice and cozy. Ah, you can't beat it. That's why all our sofas are handmade to order, and many are guaranteed to be delivered in time for Christmas. So you can look forward to cozying up this winter, knowing your new sofa won't let you down. DFS.
A lot of people commenting that to print 136K, given all the uncertainties, is a big positive. Market seems to think the same. The Dow futures up 60, opening bell in just about 9 minutes.
Technology and the future of work. November 4th in San Francisco. CNBC's At Work Summit. Top CEOs and tech leaders reimagining the workplace. Go to CNBC events.
No one wants to get caught in the rain in London. We're with you.
So our boilers come with 2 years interest-free credit to avoid a big chill to your wallet. You'll get a 5-year British Gas warranty. And now we can even quote by video call after work or weekends at a time that suits you. Get a quote by the 30th of November and get £150 off a new boiler or £450 off for existing home care customers. Search British Gas New Boiler. Conditions apply.
Live from the TuneIn Studios, I'm Fonseca with your daily sports update. Major League Baseball action continues. Today we've got the Rays at the Astros. This one's going to be at 2:05 p.m. Eastern.
We've had to kind of create some momentum here the last 15 games of the regular season because of the pressure that the A's and the Indians put on us. So we've been on a nice roll here lately.
Once again, 2:05 p.m. Eastern, Rays at the Astros, Game 1, right here on TuneIn. That's your TuneIn Sports Update.
Got all my favorite shows right there. I wish my trading platform worked like that.
Well, have you tried Thinkorswim? Mm-mm. This is totally customizable, so you focus only on what you want.
Okay, it's got screeners and watch lists.
You can even see how your predictions might affect the value of the stocks you're interested in.
Now, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it'll free up more time for your true crime shows.
British baking competitions.
Didn't beg you for a crumpet guy.
Focus on what matters to you with Thinkorswim. A hard 20 after a hard day isn't for everyone. Waking up before the sun isn't for everyone. This isn't for everyone.
Peloton, let's go.
But at $58 a month,
Don't give up. Come on.
Peloton is for anyone who wants it.
This is Dinnerly, America's most affordable meal kit from only $4.49 per serving. We do delicious dinners for everyone. Not fine dining, just good food. Choose from 14 delicious dishes every week. You'll want to eat them all. No, seriously, you'll want to eat all of them. We make cooking easy and fun. Woo! And it's all delivered to your door because, where else would we deliver it? Start cooking with Dinnerly today. Get 3 free meals with code TV5 at dinnerly.com.
You're watching CNBC Squawk on the Street, live from the financial capital of the world. The opening bell in just about 6 minutes. Busy Jobs Friday. Again, 136K is just south of estimates of 145, but the unemployment rate down to 3.5 is the lowest since 1969. You mentioned Costco. We've talked about Apple. David, we haven't gotten to the HPQ reorganization, which is going to mean a fair amount of layoffs, according to the Journal.
Yeah, potentially as much as 9,000. This is what, 16% of the overall workforce. Dan Weissler stepping down due to health reasons. The new CEO comes in and lowers the boom in terms of significant reduction, despite the fact the company has done fairly well.
But Enrique feels that they got to right size.
By the way, from since the split into HP Inc. and HP.
But this printing business, David, that come up with a new model. It's really hurting them. And the low margin printing business is hurting them. It's not being made up by demand for PC, or more importantly, I keep hoping that the 3D business will become a bigger business. That is something that Dion felt would happen. It's still too small to move the needle.
It's a lot of jobs.
It's a lot of jobs.
It is. I mean, we've seen other layoff news from Lowe's and even Deere this week, but no numbers like this.
No, and this is, printing has just been compressed so badly, and I know that they've got this new model that's more of a subscription model. To me, it's just another way to shrink jobs. But
you can go back to when Meg Whitman first took the job. I don't even know how many years ago that was, of course, and then we followed it very closely as you joined us every quarter. They had 350,000 employees.
Yeah, we always were surprised.
It was then Hewlett-Packard. Obviously, there's a lot of companies now that came from that, but the jobs numbers, if you total them all up, are nowhere near what it was.
But they're going to buy back a huge number of shares. They've got a very good yield. Dividend's going to go higher. I know that it's 8 times earnings. There's a lot of stocks that are 8 times earnings. For those who think that the market's expensive, I've got news for you. I can give you 10 stocks that indicate the market's not expensive at all. And they're big cap stocks, and whether it be Ford, whether it be GM, a Micron, a Goldman Sachs. Boy, is that...
No, but then you get names like, and Stephanie Link joined us yesterday in the closing bell.
And I love that. That was a great discussion.
She's excellent, but she talks about Pepsi, how much she loves it, but then she can't buy it at 25 times. You do have some of these names.
Oh, you look at utilities record valuation this week.
REITs. The REITs are just incredible. but that's again, that's rates. But I thought the discussion with Stephanie when Costco came up, and Costco is a very expensive stock, but it's doing very well.
She owns it at 35.
I know she did. I thought that was good. She liked that.
Right.
I've discussed PepsiCo. I think is really an ideal situation. There's still some analysts who are negative. One analyst today, I'm not going to mention, said that they made it all up in price. I'm seeing big volumes for a lot of their new liquids, but remember, it's a Frito-Lay story.
Yeah. So you look past the what some called weakness in carbonated soft drinks.
Yes, that is they're taking a little share from Coca-Cola. They've added some new drinks. Mountain Dew wasn't that good. I admit that Mountain Dew, which I like, wasn't strong, but I do think that Frito-Lay is incredible, and freight costs coming down. I think they're doing a lot of stuff. Coca-Cola up there. I think Coca-Cola will be fine. James Quincy deliver a good number. I like the growth of PepsiCo, and there's a lot of analysts who are fighting it. Stock did trade at 139 yesterday, all-time high. I think it still can be bought.
Speaking of freight costs coming down, J.P. Morgan does cut CSX to neutral.
Brutal cut.
What kind of comment is that, Jim? I mean, it's had a great run.
Okay, that's the export and import economy, and they're just not sending the same number of 18,000 containers on a boat anymore, and Vietnam ain't making up for it. So I think that the rails are very problematic, but the rails have come down huge. They all went up on what David likes to talk about as precision railroading.
Yes, the late Hunter Harrison having introduced it originally. Right. Before precision railroading, there was just chaos.
Well,
and then somebody said, let's bring some precision to railroading, and then now it's all precision.
Well,
I of course, am joking, but it is kind of a funny term.
Well, I like Union Pacific very much here. I'm not going to back away. I just think that they've returned a lot of capital. Are they going to make the quarter? Probably not. Let's think a little bit longer than the quarter. Like, a lot of jokers are making fun of me because I said, hey, look, listen, Bowie's up 15%. And Phil came out, Phil LeBeau, and he said, listen, it's probably going to get approved. And I said, look, I don't know, what's going to hurt Boeing if it hasn't been hurt already? And the answer is that there's still a lot of demand out there for there's secular demand for real estate. The REITs that are strong are the ones that are towers, the ones that are data centers, the ones that are apartments for millennials who are moving out of their parents' place. I mean, there's just strength. There's secular winners. Aerospace is still a winner. What the millennials are doing a winner. Millennials love high. That's Torito.
Speaking of aerospace, TUSA, 90 pages. 90 pages on GE Aviation.